everybody. I'm Amantha.
And I'm Angie. Welcome back to the A's Have It. This month we read a book by Jasmine Guillory titled The Wedding Date. What did you think, Amantha?
If we're going right into that, I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Ooh, thumbs down.
I'm not a romance
reader. Right out of the gate.
At least it wasn't the first book of 2026 that I did it with. I'd be starting us off on a bad note, but no, I am not a romance reader at all. It was okay. What do you give it?
Yeah, I'm not a romance reader either, and it really wasn't my thing, so I can't say as I absolutely hated it.
No.
Honestly. So if I rated it 2.5.
Out of 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, because we've done this before out of a 10. Yeah, out of 5. Probably a 2.5. Might be a 3 if I consider some things that she did well. And again, some people who love romance might really like this one.
Yeah.
You and I just neither one are romance readers.
No. I like when the romance is sprinkled in there. I don't like when it's the main point of the plot. It's just not for me. I don't know why. It never has been. There were some redeemable parts of the book. I remember I was about 40% of the way through the audiobook, and I was talking to Anna because she's tried to read it. She couldn't get through it. And I was like, it's getting a little better. And then I got about 10% further, so about 52, 55%. And I was like, yeah, this is not getting better.
I'm glad you said that. I thought it was a lot because of my age. You know, yeah. I'm a little bit older than you and Anna. And I thought, it's just younger people and it's a lot of romance. I'm kind of like over reading that kind of type of book at this point. I think a lot of times, and not always, but a lot of times it appeals more to a younger generation a lot of times.
I could see that.
But because my daughter, she's in her 30s. She's in her 30s. And, she's kind of getting to where she's over the romancy kind of books. But I did think it had some redeemable qualities. There was a review that I felt was a little of what I believed it to be. And you know what? We didn't even tell what this book is about.
I was about to say, no, we got to go into that first.
We went right into our
because we didn't
thumbs
like it.
Up, thumbs down. Because you were passionate about that.
Yeah.
So we should probably talk about a little bit about what the book is about.
And I think that's where it comes in of why you might maybe felt like you might be a little too old for the book. The concept of the book and like the main plot of the book seems a little young to me. They met in an elevator, the two main characters. And as the title suggests, they go on a date to a wedding. And this is the first time they've met. They got stranded in an elevator together. They don't know each other. And that's the gist of the book, really.
Yeah, he needs a date to a wedding.
And she agrees to go with him to just kind of put herself out there, which I understand. It's fun. Why not?
And there was a strong attraction between the two. And they had a good repertoire between the two of them in the elevator. Nice conversation. So I thought that was endearing that she was willing to take a chance.
Yes.
I don't know. It did read a little juvenile.
Their inner dialogue sounded like teenagers to me, and they're supposed to be mid-30s. And I almost could not get past that.
Yeah. At times it was like having an adult conversation,
Yeah, because they were both internally freaking out about unnecessary things because, like I said, they don't know each other. So she's freaking out and he's freaking out that she's not going to want to go to the wedding and all this and that. And their internal dialogue just seemed very young to me and very immature. And it kind of grated on my nerves a bit.
Yeah. And they really liked each other.
They really did.
But neither one would come out and say it. It was almost as if it was like kids passing the letter across the room to the next one. I like you. Do you like me?
Check yes or no.
And they might have even got farther if they would have done that.
Honestly, yeah, because they weren't being even that straightforward.
No,
like
they
just
weren't having the conversation at all. And
say what you're thinking, and maybe not through a text message. That's the other thing that drove me nuts. I get you're across the state, like she's in San Francisco, he's in LA, so pretty far apart. And they do plane trips back and forth to see each other. But I know you're far apart, but you could phone call, you could have FaceTime. You don't need to text each other, especially serious conversation topics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never enjoyed having a serious conversation through text message because I could read something one way and the person sending it could mean something completely different.
Yeah. And I felt like when they first were getting to know each other, it was all, every time they got together, it was all about intimacy. It was of that nature rather than really getting to know one another, but yet they felt like they were in love. And it was like you haven't really got to know that person in any kind of depth to where you would have those types of feelings. At this point, it was just, I find you attractive, and it was a lustful thing. And they were seeming to make a lot more out of it. But one of the reviews I read said that she found the book very problematic. She gave it a 1 out of 5.
Oh, that's rough.
But she said before she went into things that she didn't like about it, she wanted to talk about a few things that she did. She really liked the interracial couple as the main characters, which, you don't see a lot, read a lot about that. And that I did enjoy that aspect of the book myself. And she felt like the switching of the narratives between Alexa and Drew, which they do. They go from her point of view to his point of view. She thought that was done well. And that when they got done with one kind of storyline, the other one kind of picked up where that one dropped off. And I thought that she did well with that.
If I had actually read the book rather than listening, I think it would have gone through a little better when you're listening, because they didn't do it like distinctly like Alexa, Drew, like by chapter, like a lot of books do. They title the chapter with the character who's speaking, whose point of view we're getting. It got a little lost, but I got used to it pretty quickly and was like, oh, okay. And the voice, the narrator for the audiobook, she did a bit of a voice change. So you can kind of tell, like, okay, this is Drew now.
Yeah, because I listened to it and I thought it went really well.
It could have been worse.
Yes,
definitely could have.
I have heard much worse, yes. And then the characters of the best friends, Carlos and Maddie.
I liked Carlos.
I thought those were well done. I liked their best friends. I thought Drew treated Carlos terribly at times. And I often wondered, why are you still friends with this guy?
I liked Carlos more than I liked Drew.
Absolutely. Yes.
He was so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. But those were a couple of her comments that she had. And then another person had a comment, and I felt this way too. Although I didn't really think it was weird, but she said, oh, one weird thing, the characters ate constantly. Like, it's kind of hilarious how much they ate.
Yeah.
But I would say, I did find when I was reading it, I really wanted a donut. Do you remember how he was always bringing them delicious donuts? And I'm like, oh my gosh, how long it's been since I've had a donut. I need a donut.
We should have brought some donuts for this, Angie.
And then pizza, they did often get together, but that's what you do when you're getting, when you're talking to people and getting to know each other, you often meet around food.
The only reason I find it weird and that it bothered me in a way is that Alexa's, most of her internal dialogue was her self-consciousness with her body and her image. And then you proceed to have her stuffing her face every single chapter. Where I was a little conflicted and confused, and I didn't, like I said, very teenager-ish, very thoughts I had in middle school-ish. You are 30 years old. I know people have, people can be self-conscious. You can be self-conscious. But it was almost every single time we heard her internal monologue, her internal voice, it was hating on herself.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah, it kind of bothered me. But
yeah,
it wasn't the worst thing ever.
No, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, they did have her have those types of feelings and thoughts quite frequently.
A lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, we get it.
And honestly, she was a more endearing character than Drew a lot of times.
Yeah. I could see Drew as, when I pictured Drew, I didn't picture a 30-something successful doctor most of the time, except for when he was actually in his office with patients. I saw a frat boy. Through and through. I did not like his personality very much, as you mentioned, especially the way he treats Carlos, because I liked Carlos.
I did too.
He was sweet. He was funny. He was a good friend.
He really was.
And Drew treats him like crap.
Yeah, he really did.
Accusing. I mean, I guess that's a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah,
but not really, because they kind of lay out the entire plot on the back of the book.
Spoilers yet, but
I don't even have any spoilers. They lay out the entire plot. They really do.
There's a few.
A couple.
There's a few. Are you ready to get into those?
Yes, we can go ahead and get into those, because I'll say what I was about to say. So
you go for it.
If you've not read this book, do not watch any further. We're going to spoil a couple things, even though, like I said, not a lot to spoil. So one thing I really hated was when Drew, for no reason other than I think Alexa hugged Carlos, accuses her and Carlos of being together.
Yeah, being unfaithful.
And they're not even, her and Drew aren't even dating at this point.
They're not even an official couple.
No,
so
they've been seeing each other.
Correct.
In today's terms, yeah. They're in the talking stage in today's terms. And they're not dating, they're not official, they're not exclusive.
Right.
And she did nothing to, even if they were exclusive, to have that accusation thrown at her. And Carlos definitely didn't deserve that.
No, absolutely not. Do you think that Drew skipped to that conclusion because that tends to be his personality, or had been up to that point?
Absolutely. It's called projection.
Because he was quite the player. Because she went to that party at one point and she hears all these girls saying how they dated him and he just dumped them and then sent them some flowers.
You've finished Gilmore Girls now, correct?
I have. Yes.
Do you remember the episode where Rory is in, I believe it's Logan's sister's wedding, and she's talking to all the bridesmaids and all that, and finds out that they've all been with Logan.
I do remember that scene.
They gave me such Rory and Logan vibes sometimes. Not like the entire book, but because I like Rory and Logan more than I like Drew and Alexa. But that scene, I immediately saw her, Rory and Logan, and I was like, okay. And I'm just kind of surprised she didn't. Obviously, you don't want to hold somebody's past against them, but I probably would have reacted similarly. Because I would appreciate a heads up if you're going to throw me in a room full of women that you've been with.
Yeah. What did you think of Drew talking to Alexa about the young boy in the hospital that had cancer?
My first thought, I paused my audiobook and screamed, "That's a HIPAA violation!"
Yes. I'm like, that's illegal.
So illegal. And the fact that, I mean, obviously that kid's mom didn't seem to care, but I would have. Why are you telling some random lady my business?
Yeah. And he even brought her into the room. I mean,
to visit.
He did ask.
And he didn't do it.
He did ask, is it okay for her to be here? But I don't.
And he came more to visit as a friend. He wasn't working or on call. But I still think that's so inappropriate and crossing a line. He should have gone to that mom first and been like, if he had gone with the intention of Alexa helping her find support and like state-funded support, because that's what she does, that's different. But he went in there and just dragged her along. She was just kind of there. Like, there was no purpose behind her being there other than he wanted to show off and show her how good he is with kids, I think. I think that was his goal there, honestly.
Yeah. See him in his element.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I didn't quite agree with those scenes when I was watching them. Like, no, being a mom, I wouldn't have liked that.
No, because I get it's rough, and I get going home to whoever you're talking to or have feelings for or whatever, and being like, I had a rough day. I had to diagnose this 4-year-old with cancer and tell his mom. That's not necessarily a HIPAA violation.
Mhm.
You're giving no identifiable information such as their name or a physical description. The age, there can be thousands of 4-year-olds that you see. So to go in and be like, yeah, you know that kid Jake I told you about?
Or that you met because you were.
Yeah.
Because I brought you
Yeah.
in there.
Now I had to diagnose him with cancer. Yeah, like.
Yeah. And I realized he was upset and he felt like he had to talk to someone. But Carlos works with him, and I don't know if he was on the case or not, but you know.
It's better, in my opinion, to, you know, share that with a different doctor.
With a coworker who's also on the case or something, I would think.
And is also bound by HIPAA laws, like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no doctor. I don't understand all of those, but I did read that and realize, like, you're crossing a line.
A massive line.
Yeah.
Like, here's the line and here's Drew. It was bad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
I also don't know how she apparently got. You said this series is 6 books.
Yeah.
How did she get 6 books?
I don't know. But now this is this is also her debut book. So
maybe the other 5 are better.
And that often does happen with a
Mm-hmm.
series. They often do improve as they go along. So I'm assuming these did. She's obviously got a following. There obviously is lots of people who, like us, really enjoyed the book.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to put anybody off. Like, if you think you'll like this, please read it. Don't let our reviews skew you. Try it for yourself. Everyone has different opinions and likes different books.
Yeah.
And it's always worth a shot, especially if you check it out from the Piqua Public Library.
Yes.
You can just return it.
And we have lots of other books by her.
Mm-hmm. We have the next 2 in the series, at least, as well.
Yeah. And I would assume we could probably get the rest.
Oh, yeah, most likely.
But going back to spoilers, I will say the ending I found charming. And not only that, when she's trying to get this approved, this project that she wanted approved, not only did her
sister show up,
her boyfriend show up, or Drew show up, but her sister showed up. And I thought that, and it was both unexpected, and it was just nice.
I loved how they kind of ran into each other in the crowd. I was like, he's gonna find your sister.
Yeah.
He sat down and he was like, that looks familiar. And I was like, oh, that's her sister.
Yeah. I thought that was really charming.
The ending definitely had me kicking my feet and giggling a little bit. And that is one of Drew's few redeemable qualities, was how supportive he was of Alexa and her career and her projects, even when he doesn't understand or necessarily agree, because they had that whole argument about how, why should we offer troubled kids programs to help them? They should just be punished. Mm-hmm. That was his view at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of nice to see him grow a little bit in that aspect, but I think he has a lot more he can do.
Yeah. And you did see some growth in Drew.
Oh, you did.
Which was nice. I did like that aspect of the book. And
again, apparently there's 5 more books for him to grow through.
And
he
sent her donuts. Of course.
Cute, which I thought was cute.
Yeah.
He knows her favorites.
He did. That was nice. He sent her donuts, and then he shows up, and then she wanted to not necessarily go out and celebrate. She felt like she needed to be with him, and he was like, "No, there's time for that. Let's go. You need to go celebrate."
Yeah, you'll regret it if you don't.
Yeah,
I was glad he did that.
I did too, because all the way up until that point, every time they got together, it was just so they could be together without, any kind of conversation, any kind of outside not much anyway.
No, not really. And that was the other thing I really didn't like about Drew, honestly, up through the end of the book. His whole issue with Theo, her coworker, her assistant. Oh. I don't think he's an assistant. I think he's a coworker. But his whole issue with Theo, and that she bounces ideas off of him and is kind of close to Theo, and they work together.
Yeah, he was very jealous of Theo. But again, I think it's drawing off of his thought process and his past behaviors amongst probably his coworkers, I would think.
I also, speaking of his past, I definitely laughed a little too loudly when she texted him, I think she said, are you sleeping with anyone else right now? And he said, not at the moment. Why? I lost it, because honestly, That personally would have made me just laugh a little bit and been like, okay, we're going to have a conversation because that's not appropriate. But it was a little funny. But she kind of spiraled after he said that. And I can kind of see it. Like, he has a past that she's kind of aware of, but
yeah,
not right now. Why? I'm at work.
Yeah, they blew things way out of proportion constantly to keep the pushback and back and forth. And I'm with you, no, I'm not. I'm with you, no, I'm not. It's like, oh my goodness. It got a little daunting.
It really did. It was a lot
to read back and forth. Will you read the next one in the series?
Probably not. Unless one of them becomes a cop and starts investigating a murder while trying to balance their relationship. Probably not.
What if it's about one of the other characters that you liked? Would you?
If it was about Carlos finding love, I might. I liked Carlos. He seemed like a little goofy character, and I could definitely read a book about him. Mm-hmm. He seems like he's a little goofy. Drew seemed a little too uptight for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And if it was made into a movie?
I would watch it, yeah. I would watch it. Granted, even if I didn't enjoy the book, if they make it into a movie and they do a terrible job, I'm going to pick it apart.
Yeah.
Because I can't help myself. That's why I typically don't watch movies made from books that I read.
Yeah. And I really wanted to like this. Like, I went into it with an open mind. I'm like, I don't really love romance, but it's February. I'm going to give it a try.
I picked it. I thought it was going to be cute.
But
I just wish there was something more than the romance to it. I don't know. I don't know what more there could have been. It's romance. It's just not my cup of tea, I suppose.
No, but there are some romance books that I have read that I've liked. It's just not my favorite genre, but
I don't remember the last time other than this that I read just a strict romance novel. Like, typically there's like fantasy aspects in mine, and it's romantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time I remember reading a romance novel was in 8th grade when I checked out The Notebook from the school library. Mom didn't want me to read it. And I think that was the only reason why.
And that's a whole nother story.
It is. I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry. All right. So, you ready to talk about what we're reading next?
Absolutely.
All righty. So, we went back to our roots a little bit. And next month, we will be reading Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. It's a bit of a thriller mystery.
Which I haven't read in a while.
I read them all the
time. And I really enjoy them.
Good.
But I tend to read books that I think might be a good book club book for my book club, which is Novels at Night. And we tend to read fiction, historical fiction. Whereas you run the mystery one, Mystery Mayhem.
What are you guys talking about in March then?
In March, we will be reading Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell.
Oh, fun. And for Mystery Mayhem, we're going to be reading The Apothecary by Sarah Penner for March. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Absolutely, always. And look forward to hearing your comments about this book. Let us know if you actually have read it and you liked it or did not like us, or if you plan to read
the rest of it.
Give it a try, and maybe try some of the other ones too. Absolutely.
And if you read the rest of the series, let us know how it is.
Yeah.
I might try it.
If it does improve. Because a lot of times they do. So until next time.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good day and happy reading.